Tempo?
Right, Bosun, good morning.
Yes, thank you very much. Let's wake up to today's business. It looks like we're still sleeping over yesterday. The stock market was good yesterday, so let's wake up to another day.
Sure, Bosun, was really good yesterday, up some 70 basis points. I mean, we saw a whole lot of the segments of the market coming in positive yesterday, except for just one, and that's the consumer goods segment. It looks like it's leaving out a bit of entry points for some investors that may want to take position. And it looks like, again, the Santa Claus rally that we've been talking about all along is here. So from the index level, we saw it up some 0.70%. Index settled at 30,822.33 with an equity capitalization of 11.255 trillion naira, and that's where we were able to regain some of the billions of naira that the equity capitalization shared a few sessions ago. Look at the volume, it was really positive. We saw some good increase there. You look at the value, closed at 5.09 billion naira in 3,455 deals. In terms of top trades, Zenith Bank did 102 million units of its shares, and the price went up. Of the entire value of 5.09 billion naira that we saw in the entire market yesterday, Zenith Bank alone accounted for 2.34 billion naira. Now, that's something really good for that sector. It then ended up pushing up the banking index by some 0.48%. That's how the banking index closed yesterday. But that was not the only bank that contributed to the level that we saw in the markets yesterday in terms of the banking sector performance. Diamond Bank, which is in the news, was up some 9.62%. Wema Bank also joined to do some 9.26%. Unity Bank, which has its AGM today in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, has 8.70% in terms of its performance yesterday. FCMB also rose some 5.42%, while FBN Holdings did some 3.45% yesterday. All of these banks were the major banks that pushed up the indices of the banking subsector of the Nigerian Stock Exchange yesterday. The consumer goods sector was the only segment that was negative yesterday on account of the losses that investors put on Unilever, which shed some 2.7%, and Guinness that was down some 1.37%. But if you look at other segments of the market, the industrial goods sector, given the performance of CCANN in its Q3 results, which was released recently, that company rose pushed up the indices of the industrial goods sector yesterday, as it ended up closing at 9.91% upward. Dangote Cement also rose some 2.16%, and these two companies were able to help the indices of the industrial goods sector close at 163 basis points. Insurance segment was also positive, marginally 0.07%. But if you look at the oil and gas sector, where we saw some more traction there, Forte Oil closed positive, 9.91%. Mobile, which is now 11 PLC, did 8.56%. These two major companies were able to sustain the positives that we've seen on oil and gas segments yesterday. But if you look at the general performance of the market in terms of market breadth, was positive. We saw 25 gainers and 11 losers. In fact, in recent times, even when the indices of the market closes negative, we know that the market breadth has been really positive. Tells you that we're seeing more buy interest in the markets. The top gainer was Naamet, which gained some 10%. Then, of course, the top loser was Access Bank, shared in some 5.52%. Of course, that's as a result of profit taking, given the fact that it has now risen to 8 naira in its share price. We look at the NASD, which is
Tempo. I like your mood. I like your mood, and I appreciate that. But you just started off with the Santa Claus rally. Before you leave the stock market, I'm not too sure if I'm sharing your party, because I was disappointed. Santa Claus must have started this journey very late this time around. I don't know when it's going to get down to Lagos, but because the first time I opened up on the Santa Claus rally a few weeks ago, it all flew out of the window. But these numbers yesterday showed very solid against by the market, by investors. Are you hearing whether this is just book balancing because pension fund managers, managed funds, investors, and others will be trying to wrap up. Christmas is just next week. So maybe this is just giving us some good news before they close shop for the year. I mean, what are you hearing?
Well, I think it is sustainable, given what the brokers have been talking about. I mean, they're the ones who see the numbers the way it crunches on their systems, on their workstations. I don't see it. I only get to look at the back end of it, or the other side of it, where you see the real-time updates of the trades, of the trading activities. Basically, that's how we get this information. You know it, Bosun. But so what I've been hearing is that this is sustainable. It is historic about the market, that at this point in time, you will see some traction in the system. And that tells you that a lot of investments had gone into a lot of the companies that are tradable. Again, like as I said earlier, we have been seeing the market breadth closing positive within the last 2 weeks of this month, since the trading has been commencing and investors have been, taking position ahead of this Santa Claus rally. So even when the indices, the ALSI of the entire NSE closes negative, if you look at the market breadth, you always have more gainers than losers. So that is what we've been seeing in the market, and I think it is really, really sustainable, given what the traders have been talking about. A lot of them have actually put down their savings, waiting for the numbers to go up so that they can take profits, Bosun.
Okay, we're going to talk more about this in the second half of the program in about a few minutes. Stick around. We need to check in with President Buhari's budget, a bit of a pre-presentation, trying to get a sneak preview into one very major aspect of the budget, which is the oil markets. The outlook for next year is 2.3 million barrels per day. We're looking at $60 a barrel. Oil as at this morning is below 60. That's for the Brent crude. U.S. crude also fell to a new low, about $45 a barrel. All of this, we're getting some sense of it together. Then we'll get back to Temple Ashaju at the Stock Exchange to give us a bit more of the market reading. It was a very nice Tuesday. I'm looking for a nice Wednesday. Are you?